Wltoys haven't really had a good couple of years. Now, they have released some new cars, but they all seem to be lacking in quality and performance. And a lot of their new cars are nowhere near as good as the old stuff. And one of their best ever cars was the 144001. That thing was so good for the money. So Wltoys have been a little bit disappointing the last couple of years. We haven't really seen any major new releases. Maybe this is the new truck to make Wltoys great again. This is 1/12 scale. It kind of has the trophy truck look to it. It promises a speed of 40+ kilometers per hour. It also looks like we've got some LED lights on this. Let's just get it open and take a closer look. So here it is out the box. This is the new Wltoys 124006, also known as the EXP16. Now this is 1/12 scale and it is a decent size. Now this thing actually looks really familiar. It looks a lot like the old 12428. Now I never reviewed that truck. I think that was out just before I started my channel. But from what I can remember, I think it was actually really good for the money. So the body on this does look cool. It's definitely got that trophy truck styling. I'm not seeing any body clips. I think this body is actually screwed in place, and that's going to be a bit of a pain for me to show you underneath. Getting the body off was a bit of a pain. There are so many screws to take out before you can actually get underneath. But once you do get the body off, you do notice straight away everything is pretty much Wltoys. You've got the big brushed motor that we're used to seeing, and the 2-in-1 ESC and receiver, and of course that 5-wire servo. So you can get this in 2 different colours. Banggood have sent me the red version, but you can also get it in green. Yeah, it's definitely a good looking truck. It even comes complete with a driver. He looks really cool in there. Of course, this does have the Wltoys special LEDs. You have got an LED light bar up on top. We've also got some LEDs in the front bumper. On the rear, just tucked under the body, it does look like we get a full-size spare. Now, looks-wise, I think it does look more expensive than it actually is. I like the fact that Wltoys have kept the body a little bit more basic than usual. Sometimes they come out with these crazy designs that no one really likes. But with this, they have kept it a little bit more simple and realistic looking. So fair play to Wltoys. Maybe they are starting to listen. Or are they listening? Because next, we're going to talk about a common problem. Now, I think you may have noticed already, but this thing does have friction shocks, and it is a bit bouncy. Not only me, but loads of creators out there have all said the same thing. Even customers have said it. Get rid of the friction shocks. No one likes them. They just subtract so much performance from otherwise a very decent truck. And the truth is, I really want to like this because I think it does look really cool. But I already know that those friction shocks are going to let the performance down a little bit. Oh, it's just really boring and a little bit annoying now. When I do these reviews, I always pass on my feedback, and Banggood or whoever it is I'm working with always assure me that that feedback gets passed on. But does that feedback actually get passed on and used? Because once again, they're not really listening. Now, you may be able to tell, but I am genuinely disappointed with this just because of those friction shocks. I just don't think this is going to perform as well as it would have if it had a proper set of oil shocks. Underneath, this does have a solid axle on the rear, and the drive shaft down there is a combination of metal and plastic. I don't know how long that's going to hold up for. I would have liked to have seen a complete metal drive shaft. Of course, it does have a plastic chassis and a metal skid plate at the front. We've also got metal CVDs at the front. Under there is the battery tray, which is quite small considering the size of this truck. Now, we'll get back to the truck in a moment. Now, transmitter wise, they've gone back to the old school M2R transmitter. Now, these things were actually really good. I preferred these over the new ones. I think the new ones were horrible to look at. They also didn't feel as nice to hold. You do get a foam grip on the wheel. You've got your throttle dual rate and steering trim adjustments on top. Yeah, these aren't too bad. I've always liked these. Battery wise, we've got a 1500 milliamp hour 2S lithium ion. Also in the box, you get a USB charger, a cross wrench and a screwdriver. Finally, you do get a black and white manual. Now, looking at the manual, it appears you may be able to put oil in those shocks. But look, I'm not going to do that because I like to review RC cars as they turn up to my door, even though some people say it's the more sensible thing to do to get the best performance out of this truck. Well, if that's the case, why didn't Wltoys do it? Right, you've heard me moan long enough in this video. Yes, I know I've had a good old moan today, but I think it is required. And I think it's really important people know what they're buying. So I've got it powered on. Here's a quick look at the LED lights. Not too bad. They're not the brightest I've ever seen, but they do look cool. Right, let's see how fast this goes on the included battery. That's full throttle. Almost did a little wheelie there. what are we going to get out of this? Now, they say on the box this will do 40 kilometers per hour. Right, let's bring it back. Let's see what we got. I don't think we're going to see 40. Brakes are pretty good too. So let's hit read. 21 miles per hour, which is around 34 kilometers per hour. So top speed wise, it's not too bad. We'll give it a very quick run off road. I just want to see how those shocks perform. So as expected, this thing is extremely bouncy. Even on a fairly flat surface like this, it's quite noticeable how bouncy it really is. And that is thanks to those shocks. You know, we've said it so many times, they need to stop including these things on a lot of these cars. You know, surely oil-filled shocks really aren't that much more expensive. I wouldn't have thought so anyway, so I'm not really sure why they do this. So once again, quite disappointing from Wltoys. It's not very stable. It does like to jump around a lot, and it's all thanks to those shocks. When will they start listening? So there we go then, guys. That was the new Wltoys 124006. A very cool looking truck, but I am slightly disappointed with the shocks. I think if this thing had oil-filled shocks, it would be a totally different story. So drop a comment down below and let me know what you think of the new Wltoys EXP16 or 124006. Have Wltoys done enough to get back some of that popularity that they used to have? I think Wltoys have so much more work to do if they're ever going to get up to the top again, because Relalo, MJX and High Boxing are pretty much the leaders now when it comes to cheap and budget RC cars. Wltoys just don't seem to listen. They don't listen to YouTubers who actually review these things, and they certainly don't listen to customers. And I think if they did, they may actually get back on top. Cheers for watching. See you on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed today's video, check out two really cool alternatives. These two trucks are definitely worth the money.